So good evening. On behalf of Board Chair and 5th District Supervisor Catherine Barger, we're holding a press conference to give important information to the community of Santa Clarita and the Castaic area. I am Anthony Marrone, Chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. The Hughes Fire is now estimated to be over 9,400 acres with 0% containment, with no structures reported damaged or destroyed. We have over 4,000 firefighting personnel assigned to the incident, and we had a very robust ground and air response to the incident that you see behind me. The LA County Fire Department is in unified command with the Angeles National Forest, and we are getting assistance from our state partners at CAL FIRE. I wanted to give a weather update because the weather is what's predominantly driving this fire and its spread right now. The National Weather Service has extended the red flag warning through 10 a.m. on Friday for most of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Light to moderate Santa Ana winds will continue tonight and into Thursday. The situation remains dynamic, and the fire remains a difficult fire to contain, although we are getting the upper hand. I would now like to invite up Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna to give an update on evacuations and the closure of the I-5. Thank you.
Good evening to everybody, and thank you, Chief Marrone. So for us, obviously in unified command with our partners at the fire department from the very beginning of this fire incident. And right now the numbers that I have is that we have approximately 31,000 people who are affected by our evacuation orders. Another 23,000 that are impacted by evacuation warnings. Along with the work that our deputies have been doing, and you've seen them going from neighborhood to neighborhood, making sure that we are protecting the neighborhoods to make sure nobody gets hurt, traffic ingress and egress, and also, unfortunately, when we talk about fires, our staff knows that immediately they start what we call looter suppression, just to make sure that no one's coming into the area to take advantage when people are evacuating their homes. So I want to make sure people know that if you leave your homes, there will be additional deputies working out there in the neighborhoods to make sure your homes are safe. In regards to staffing, we are staffing up. You hear sirens in the distance. They're not only fire apparatus, but you see deputies coming in from different parts of the county. You see our incident management team over my left shoulder setting up with the big trailers that will assume responsibility for this incident from the Sheriff's Department perspective, and again in unified command with all of our partners. We have what I estimate well over 400 personnel total regarding this incident and managing other incidences around the county of Los Angeles. I do want to bring your attention to the fact that during this incident, one of the areas that initially was an evacuation warning that did turn into an evacuation order was our Pitches Detention Center, which is not too far from here. The Pitches Detention Center has actually 3 different facilities. One of the facilities was evacuated. In discussing this with our partners from the fire department who are experts in this area, they recommended and we agreed that the one facility, PD South, would be evacuated. That had approximately 476 inmates. We moved those inmates to another facility on the campus. The other 2 campuses are structured much better than the one that we evacuated from. But total on the entire campus, we have approximately 4,500 inmates, a little over that. We do have a plan in place in case the fire conditions, our fire partners would advise if it gets worse, whether it's wind, whatever that may be, a plan in place to evacuate the rest of the inmates on the entire facility if we absolutely had to. Other than that, it's a newer incident and it's evolving. It's going to change. We're ready for just about anything, which, by the way, includes being prepared for any other incident that would break, God forbid, anywhere in the county of Los Angeles. I do want to report that the 5 freeway has been closed, but I'm told that after this press conference, for a variety of reasons, we will reopen the freeway so that people can go back and forth. Again, I do want to reiterate that if you do not live in this area and you're following the smoke, you want to go see what the firefighters are doing, turn on the television set. Do not drive into these areas. You are impacting the ingress and egress of emergency vehicles. We don't need more traffic. We want less traffic. We don't want you walking around in the impacted areas to impact the community members who live here. And with that, I'm going to introduce Chief Robert Garcia from the U.S. Forest Service.
Good evening. Just want to first say thank you to Sheriff Luna and Fire Chief Marrone and Director Joe Tyler for the partnership. This incident started out in the early part of the day, as Chief Marrone indicated, and this is in a mutual threat zone, so Los Angeles County Fire Department and the Angeles National Forest entered into unified command right away. And I also want to say how extremely proud I am of the way our responders moved into this area and established command and really established some incident objectives working together. The conditions that we're under aren't as severe as what we've been facing over the last week or two. But what you saw today is indicative of the conditions that we're in terms of the vegetation. So although we're not under a particularly dangerous situation in terms of the wind, our wildland fire condition is critical. Absent wind, the fire is going to move through the vegetation like you saw today with the slope and chasing fuel. Very dangerous conditions as to what led to the U.S. Forest Service closing all of the Angeles National Forest, and this is exactly an example why. The other thing I want to offer in terms of resources, I hope that all the citizens here in the area are proud of the pre-positioning and the robust response. This area always sees a robust response in the mutual threat zone, but our incidents between the Eaton, the Palisades, our local mobilization centers, our pre-positioned resources put us in a position for multiple waves of surge resources, both engine crews on the ground, hand crews, bulldozers, and aircraft. And so the response you see is a result of the local cooperation and the local pre-planning in the geographic area, not only within the LA area, but also with our partners in the state of California to ensure that we are prepared for what we're now facing. With that, I'm going to turn over the mic to the director of CAL FIRE from Sacramento, Director Joe Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Tyler. I'm the Director and Fire Chief of CAL FIRE. Normally, my office is located in Sacramento, but I have found the need over the last 2 weeks to spend my time here in the greater Los Angeles area. We have been impacted significantly over the last 2 weeks, as we all know, related to the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, the Hearst fire, the Lydia fire. And as we continue through these weather conditions, we recognize that it's not over yet. We recognize that we still have a couple of days to go. So the state of California brings its full force of the women and men of CAL FIRE, supporting the Los Angeles County Fire Department, our local fire agencies, the Angeles National Forest and the Forest Service abroad, as well as our law enforcement partners who are doing so much to respond to all of these emergencies together. Cal OES has utilized funds to bring together pre-positioned resources across Southern California, and the California National Guard has located aircraft, both rotor wing helicopters and fixed wings, mobile or modular MAFS units to be able to supplement the air tankers that we have here available locally. This fire had a robust response today, and as you can see behind us, the responders are doing great work to try to contain this fire. Certainly, we are not out of the woods yet. It is important to take heed and caution and follow the directions of local law enforcement and your first responders as they are asking you to evacuate the area. Doing that will allow our fire resources to be able to conduct perimeter control and extinguish the flaming front of this fire. Many times we find ourselves trying to rescue evacuees. But today, the community heeded that lesson and many evacuated the area, allowing them to fight the fire. We will continue to be here to support, not only now, but as we move into the next phase with the potential of rains coming forward and trying to mitigate the landscape to avoid debris flows and flooding. We will be here for you. I want to take the opportunity now to invite the Mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda, to the podium.
Thank you very much. I'm City of Santa Clarita Mayor Bill Miranda. We just cannot say enough about the work our first responders have done over the past couple of weeks and the work that they are currently doing just north of the city. In the wake of the devastation that tore through Los Angeles, claiming homes and lives, understandably, everyone is on heightened alert and all too aware of the damage these fires can cause. I want to reemphasize the importance of listening to our first responders and paying attention to the emergency alerts. If your area is under evacuation warning or order, please, if it's a warning, prepare to evacuate. If it's an order, evacuate now. Don't wait 10 minutes and see what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change in 10 minutes. We want you to evacuate now. Do not hesitate. Do not stay. Grab the necessary items and leave as quickly as you can. And when we mention grab the necessary items, we're talking about critical papers or critical medicine that you may need. We're not talking about packing a suitcase. We're talking about packing a backpack and having it ready. We can imagine the stress and extreme conditions our first responders have been under during this unprecedented time. Do your part to help them. And the best way you can do that is to evacuate. Our city is unified. Our city is in unified command with the Los Angeles County Fire Department and the Sheriff's Department. We're working together to ensure that our residents are safe and minimize potential damage to homes and businesses. All city recreation and community services have been canceled for the rest of the day. Our Santa Clarita transit buses are running behind schedule because of the traffic due to the evacuations. I encourage all of you, if you are safe, not in an evacuation zone, please stay home and off our city streets. We need our streets open for evacuees to safely leave and for first responders to get in. Please do your part to help these fighting the Hughes Fire. I want to end with our heartfelt thanks to the firefighters, the Sheriff's Department, deputies, and other first responders. Your efforts have been nothing but heroic. From the city of Santa Clarita, we say thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now we're going to do question and answer with the media, and after we are finished with this, we will have breakout sessions and we will provide Spanish interviews as well. First question.
Thank you. What's the plan for the night and into the morning?
Chief Marrone.
So we've already developed the day and the night plan with our unified partners. We are going to be on scene all night long, gaining more perimeter control, making sure that we can put out the hot spots, and then have enough resources in staging that if we do have a flare-up, we can move those resources to the fire line. So we already have a plan for tonight, and we're making orders for tomorrow.
Can you talk more about those plans for the night, like specifics?
Regarding number of resources or
Yes.
job assignments,
Yes.
we're going to keep the 4,000 firefighters assigned to the incident. We're going to increase our perimeter control, and we're going to extinguish those hot spots. So those would be the tasks. Yeah.
Sheriff Luna, if you could describe the decision-making to first close the I-5 and now reopen, what changed that allowed you to reopen that particular byway?
So, working with our partners at the California Highway Patrol, we needed to have better ingress and egress for emergency vehicles coming through the 5 freeway corridor. I believe that we've gotten a lot of the equipment that we need here for the rest of the evening. Obviously, that could change, that could be modified. So we want to give the 5 back to our community so they can get through here as safely and as efficiently as they possibly can.
And is there anything on the way of Interstate 5 that puts those drivers at risk at all, or are you concerned at all about what the traffic will look like?
Always concerned about hazards coming in and out, north and south. As far as I know now, we don't see any hazards, but the winds are what they are. I'm not a fire expert, but we listen to our fire experts, and if the winds shift, fire behavior does whatever it does, and if at any time we believe that our community may be in peril because of that wind or fire behavior, we'll close it again. I say we'll close it again. It's our partners at the California Highway Patrol who usually do that, and they do an excellent job at that.
Amanda Starantino, KCAL. Chief Marrone, I have 2 questions. A lot of people are on edge after the last couple of weeks and what we've seen happen in Altadena and the Palisades. How does this fire here, the Hughes Fire, compare to what we've seen the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think that we've all been on edge over the last 16 days. And we've had numerous fires start throughout Los Angeles County. The response to this fire between the Angeles National Forest and the LA County resources, in addition to the state resources that were pre-deployed, we had 2 strike teams in the Santa Clarita area. We were able to amass a lot of fire resources early on to change what this fire looks like. Just 3 or 4 hours ago, the smoke was laying across the 5 freeway. That's what necessitated its shutdown, because there could have been accidents, but also the ability to fight the fire from the air. The winds were strong, but they were not those 70, 80, 90-mile-an-hour winds that we experienced on Tuesday the 7th. We had a very robust, like Director Tyler spoke, a robust helicopter and fixed-wing retardant response to this incident. We were able to put in tens of thousands of gallons of retardant on the south side of the fire because the fire was moving to the southwest. It was really the aircraft in addition to all of those ground resources which allowed us to get the upper hand. Because had you been here a few hours ago, the situation looked much different, and it certainly looked much more threatening.
And Chief Marrone, what are the biggest challenges heading into the night?
Well, into the night, it's going to be making sure that we can rest our crews that have been out there since 10:42 this morning, making sure we can feed them. Firefighting is dirty and dangerous work, but we got to rotate our crews through so we can have, a lot of production and efficiency throughout the night. We're going to take advantage of the lower temperatures and hopefully the reduced wind speeds and the higher humidities to try to get an upper hand.
Okay, thank you. And Sheriff Luna, this is for you. With the 5 reopening, will there still be no access to those neighborhoods now that people will be driving up and down those roads, so getting off at Parker, Lake Hughes, Hasley, all those evacuation order areas, just because the 5's open, is that still going to be blocked off?
We're assessing that now to make sure, but we'll have a lot of presence. If you are coming into the area, be ready to be challenged, meaning in a polite way, to find out if you actually live here. Be ready to show identification, because we want to make sure that we're limiting the people who are coming in and out, and it's people who actually belong here.
I guess this question might be for you, Sheriff, since you guys handle evacuations. I'm Craig with KNX News. When it comes to the idea of evacuation, some people are stubborn. They don't want to go. Have you seen a change in attitude with this fire and now because of the terrible devastation, the death toll, and the fact people are panicked because of the Eaton fire and the Palisades fire?
I haven't received that assessment yet. But I will in the next couple of hours to see how we did on this one. Our deputy sheriffs do amazing work. And yes, whether it was the Palisades fire in Malibu Lost Hills for us and the Eaton fire in Altadena, our deputies' jobs are very difficult. There are times where people challenge them. They get evacuation orders and they refuse to leave. They think that they're going to be okay. I know I told a story earlier of a situation in the Altadena area where we were directing people to evacuate, and they refused to, and the deputy felt that they were in such danger that he actually threatened them with arrest. There was an argument between a wife and a husband, wife saying, hey, we should listen. They listened, they left, and they are now crediting the deputy sheriff for saving their life because that house and neighborhood completely burned down. Those are the challenges that we face, but you've heard it here over and over, and really the message is simple. If there's an evacuation order, please leave. Do not put your life at risk. Do not put the life of first responders at risk. It's not worth it. And I'm even pushing it that if you're in an evacuation warning, you should also leave. Gather your most important items, medicines, important paperwork, pets, chargers for your phone, and get out of the area. Don't sit there and argue. It is not worth it.
Camilla Rambaldi with NBC4. My question is for Fire Chief Marrone. You talked about some of the wind conditions and the plan going into the evening hours and tomorrow. At this point, are there any additional concerns that you have in battling this fire?
No additional concerns. You know, the situation that we're in today is much different than the situation we were in 16 days ago. We have so many resources from Northern California, from the Western United States, international resources, aircraft resources, the number of helicopters and fixed-wing retardant tankers that are available to us really allow us to attack a fire like this and have it laid down right as we reach nightfall. It was a monumental work from the firefighters that were on scene, our law enforcement, our sheriff's deputies, the CHP. They did great work today, and it was a good example of what we can do when we have enough people and when we have enough aircraft.
David Gonzalez with ABC7. Chief Marrone opened this up to Garcia and Tyler as well. Just, you mentioned the importance of giving your fire crews a break. It's been 2 very tough weeks for your fire crews. How's the morale of your firefighters? It seems that this fire popped up and the first thing people thought of is, here we go again. How are your fire crews doing? And just how do you tackle this to keep them motivated?
Yeah, their morale is excellent. And firefighters and sheriff's deputies, they never give up. And they're ready to keep doing it until the weather changes. We do have rain. That's predicted for this weekend. It was light to moderate. I think it's being bumped up to moderate. It's hard to believe that we might have rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when we have fire weather on Wednesday. The firefighters have all banded together along with their law enforcement brothers and sisters, and they're out there. They've been on the line since January 7th, that Tuesday. Many of my LA County firefighters worked 9 days in a row before their first day off. That's 9 24-hour shifts in a row. They left their families. They missed important engagements. They missed birthdays to protect the residents of LA County. And that's what LA County firefighters do. And they're just like the other firefighters that Chief Garcia represents, or that Director Joe Tyler represents, or the deputies and the law enforcement officers that Sheriff Luna represents. They're tireless, they're driven, and they've done an amazing job over the last 16 days. So proud of them and the work that they've done. Yeah, no, all of the additional resources that came into LA County have certainly assisted us. I don't have a timeline on when they're going to demob and go back to their states or to their countries, or when the aircraft are going to return to their home bases. But for now, the Weather Service did extend the red flag that we're under today all the way till Friday at 10 a.m. So I can't imagine that we're going to have any reductions in personnel. The teams that the National Incident Management Team from the Federal Forest Service brought down to help us manage the Eaton fire, and the 2 or 3 teams that Director Tyler brought down from CAL FIRE, those incident management teams, they're still in the area. They're not going home because the threat hasn't been completely abated. It's really going to be weather driven, and the climate is certainly changing because it's January and we've had numerous fires over the last 2-week period.
Hi, Jade Abishan, KHTS Radio. Will Hart High School remain the evacuation center? We know it's already changed once, so there is some concern about that.
If it's okay with you, let me follow up with you just to make sure. I know we use that immediately. We'll confer with our city partners and see if that's working with very valuable input from our community, and then we'll see where we go from there. We'll let you know right away, though.